Good morning and welcome to your Hatha class. My name is Yvonne and I'm really pleased to be able to bring you yoga into your homes because we're experiencing a really interesting time at the moment and yeah, we're all navigating it. So well done to you for making time for your yoga practice, especially on this glorious day. But hey, we'll get through it. So thoughts and prayers to everybody who've lost loved ones. But we're here, we're connecting to our yoga at a really key time. So please enjoy. So I'd like you to gather some props. We have to improvise at the moment. Good morning and welcome to your Hatha Yoga practice. I'm Yvonne and really pleased to be in your homes, and I think we've got some technical problems, so can only apologise if you're losing signal. I think I've got a dodgy connection where I live, but you know, bear with me, and if you do disconnect, you're on your mat, still keep practicing. I hope I can stay with you for the hour, but if I lose you, please still practice, and even if it's just laying down and connecting to your breath, please do that. But we're here, and well done to the MoreYoga guys for really trying to put this together for both you and us as teachers as we navigate this really curious time. So just before I disconnected, I was asking you to get some props. So yoga belt or a strap from your dressing gown, or a long sturdy belt, anything that, or a long sturdy scarf, anything that looks like this, okay, because we're going to do some leg stretches and it needs to be a decent length. You also need either a bath towel or a small blanket if you've got one, but yeah, blanket, bath towel, beach towel, anything that's soft and you can fold neatly to lay your head on. So fold that in nice neat square at top of your mat. Grab a hardback book, so something kind of this size that's going to be sturdy enough, because we're going to use it as a brick part way through the hoping third time lucky, fingers crossed. So apologies for the disconnection. If you've been waiting, thank you so much for your patience. This is what we're navigating right now, but you know what? We're here, we're trying to bring you yoga, and you're here trying to access it, so that's really good. So thanks for your patience. If we do get disconnected again, as I said just before, you're on your mat, stay on your mat and still practice for the hour if you lose me, because I'm trying everything I can with my connection. So I hope this time, third time lucky, it works. If not, as I say, stay on your mat and do whatever practice comes to you, and just connect to your breath, because that is really, really important. But fingers crossed, you get a little practice with me today. So props, strap you'll need, so you can either use a dressing gown belt, sturdy scarf, or anything that is a decent length, because you're going to need to be laying on your back, extending your leg up to the ceiling. So with the strap, I'll tell you about that in a moment. You're going to need a blanket or a beach towel, bath towel, and fold it nice and neatly, smooth edging towards your neck, hem edge away from you, place that at the top of the mat. And then have cork brick if you've got it, great. If not, a hardback book, so small sturdy hardback book that you can use as a brick later on in the practice. And then the third item, it's not an essential but it's a nice to have for later on, is a bolster or a makeshift bolster. So as I was saying just before I got disconnected, that our dear colleague Liz Joy Oakley has created an amazing post that tells us how to use household items to make the yoga props. So check out the MoreYoga website, there's a blog on there from Liz. If not, I've put the link on my Instagram, Yvonne Henrietta Yoga. So it tells you how to make one of these. You can fold a pillow, put it inside of a roll towel. But for now, just maybe grab another towel and just roll that thick, because we use that later on. So you don't need that one for now, but what we do need is blanket folded, as I said, top of the mat, and you need your strap, and come to sitting. So with the yoga strap or the belt, if you've got one, you're going to loop it. If you've got your dressing gown belt, you're just going to tie it around your thighs. So we're going to bring this loop over our knees up to mid-thigh. Mid-thigh is halfway between the knees and the hips. And if you've got the belt, you want the buckle in the gap of the thighs, not on your thigh, okay? And always bend your knees when you lay down. It's better for your spine. So knees bent, and then come to laying on your back. And we're just going to start nice and simply. It's always important to make a transition from what we were doing to what we're going to be doing, which is our practice. So it's to arrive in our practice. So have your feet about hip width apart and have the toes facing forward, and the belt should hold the legs firm but not tight, because as you relax, your thighs will roll out. Ensure that the blanket is only supporting your head and your neck. Your shoulders are on the mat, and keep your shoulders from your ears. Lengthen your tailbone down towards your heels, so your back body, your lower back body, is really connecting down into the mat. And keeping your lower body fixed onto that mat, we're going to equally connect our upper body to the mat. So you're going to inhale your arms up to the ceiling. You're going to turn the palms so your thumbs are facing the side of the room. You're going to bend at the elbow, fingertips into your blanket, and keep the elbows facing up towards the ceiling. Now remember, you're going to keep your lower body planted into the mat. But what you're going to do with your upper body, one small movement, you're going to lift your chest up to the ceiling and move your shoulder blades down the back. And then you're going to release your arms into Shavasana arms. And Shavasana arms, if you don't know and you're new to yoga, welcome to your lifetime's journey. But Shavasana arms is the pose we do at the end of class, where you lay prone and your arms are slightly away from your body, palms facing up. And last adjustment is to lengthen your chin towards your chest, so you feel a little stretch at the back of your neck, and you're just starting to arrive in the practice. So this pose is called effortless rest pose or conscious rest. It doesn't have a Sanskrit name. I like to honor the tradition of yoga by introducing all the names by their Sanskrit name and then translating it, but this one just has English name of conscious rest or effortless rest pose. So really simple, and it's for us to just arrive in the practice. So if some of you guys know me from Wembley, Wandsworth, wherever I teach, you know my Hatha class starts with one restorative pose to transition from outside to in, because it's really important. To arrive in the practice, start to connect to your breath. The breath pattern I recommend you follow today is inhaling towards the heart and exhaling towards the crown. It's a really simple breath practice, but it really does allow you just to stay connected to the breath and stay in the practice, which is really important to us right now. So well done again for making that time. So today we're going to be working on some twists, but I want you to be present with today's practice. I want you to think about what's going on with the body today and not be in the autopilot, because you hear a pose, you know, and you just do that. So have a few more rounds of breath here, just connecting the back body completely into the mat, just arriving in the practice. Hopefully you've put a sign outside of your right inside of your left, and vice versa, slowly inhaling and exhaling as you go. And this is oiling the spine. So this is actually called Vayu Kavaku Siddhakratasana. And it's more familiarly known as windscreen wipers, because obviously the motion we're following is exactly that. And this oil in the spine is putting movement and space into all the vertebrae, which allows the spine to eventually contribute to going back to the right length. Let's start to bring the head into it. So as your knees go one direction, gently turn your head to the opposite direction to increase that gentle twist. So this is the first of our little twists. And it's just waking up the back body. So, you know, it's Sunday morning. We're taking it nice and slow, taking it nice and easy. There's an expression in Sanskrit called Vishara, and it translates to conscious inquiry of your own practice. So today I want you to really switch on to what's going on today and not the autopilot. I may have already said that before we got cut off, but hey, it's a good reminder. So do 2 more of your windscreen wipers on each side. And once you've done your 2, you come back to the neutral, effortless rest position. Just take your time. Your practice, if you're practicing with somebody else in the room, don't be concerned with what's going on their mat. It's only your mat that is of concern. So once you've done your 2, you come back to neutral, bring the feet back to hip distance apart, toes facing forward, heels in front of your buttocks. And then gently you're going to draw your knees into your chest, and you're going to give yourself a nice little hug. So you're going to wrap your hands around your sides, run your shins, and you're going to rock gently from side to side, really slowly and mindfully. Everything today is slow. Slow, mindful practice. You know, it's going to be a warm day. We have to stay inside. We can go for our one little walk, but you know, let's keep that energy for the warm day. So from here, slip your belt off and undo it. So ground your feet, so we're back into that effortless rest position. Feet down, knees up. And unloop your belt, so you've now got 1 long piece of belt. Keeping the left leg bent. You're going to inhale and extend the right leg up to the ceiling, but just before you do that, you're going to put the belt on the ball of your foot. And then you decide where you'd like to hold the belt. You can either hold the belt with your arms straight, or my preference is to actually brace my arms, my elbows into the mat with my elbows slightly apart, so I get space in my chest. And that kind of works better for me. So I invite you, if you don't know the preference, I invite you to try both. If you know, great, stay where you are. So strap is over the ball of your foot, okay? We're going to do a couple of reclined hand to foot poses known as Supta Padangusthasana. So from here, slight bend in the knee if it feels too much on the hamstrings, but you get your leg as straight as feels comfortable for you. And you're really extending that heel towards the ceiling and having the toes slightly pointing as well. So it's almost like a float, but you're trying to extend through the heel. If it feels too much in the hamstring, put a slight bend in the knee. And you're keeping the pelvis and the hips level, so try not to lift your buttocks off the ground. Keep them grounded, level. And have a couple of breaths here, extending up through the heel. Inhaling down towards the heart and exhaling out through the crown of the head. Do that one more time. Inhaling towards the heart, exhaling towards the crown. And now on an inhale, extend that left leg long, but keep it engaged. So really fire up the left thigh, extend through the heel, toes facing in towards you, so you've dorsiflexed your foot. And you're trying to push the back of your knee into the mat. But again, Vishara, conscious inquiry of your own practice. So If pushing the back of the knee down feels too much, back off. Stay where it feels comfortable. Okay. Bring the straps into your left hand, both straps into your left hand, and use your thumb to hook in to your right hip crease. So hook your thumb into your right hip crease and pull the hip down, pull the flesh down, because you're creating space. And as you're creating space, pulling that flesh down towards the ground, I'm going to invite you to turn your toes out to 1 o'clock. And as you turn the toes out to 1 o'clock, you will feel that movement in your thumb. So turn back to 12 o'clock, and then inhaling, turn the toes and the heel, turn the toes out to 1 o'clock so the heel moves in towards you, and then back to neutral. Bring the straps back into the right hand, and this time you will probably need to brace your elbow into the ground. Bring your left hand onto the top of your left thigh, because we're going to extend the right leg out to the right. But what tends to happen is we end up tipping over and the left hip comes off the mat. We need to ground that left hip. So if you use your left hand, top of your left thigh, gently weight your hand into it. And then inhaling, turn the toes out to 1 o'clock like we just did. And then on the exhale, you extend that right leg out as far as feels comfortable for you. You're keeping your chest towards the ceiling, head towards the ceiling, and you're extending out through the heel. And again, if it feels too much, you put a bend in the knee. There's no prizes for how straight your leg is, and no prizes for your leg touching the ground. Ideally, your leg should be off the ground. Extend through that heel. Feel the opening into the inner thigh as well as the hamstring. Supta Padangusthasana number 2. This is number 2. Couple of breaths here. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. One more breath here. If it's too much, you bend the knee, or indeed you. So inhaling, extend that right leg on an exhale. Now I've got osteoarthritis in my right knee, so the back of my right knee doesn't go down to the mat, and I need support because it grips after a while, so I put something in to support it. But you try to get the back of your knee touching the mat. Again, keep some space in the chest, lifting the chest, connecting to the breath pattern, and noticing how this pose feels on this side. So bring both straps into the right hand. We're going to do the hip crease thing again. So take your left thumb into the left hip crease. Pull down on the hip so you're creating space. So you're pulling that flesh down towards the ground. And you should feel space. And with that space, turn the toes out now to 11 o'clock. So the heel's coming into the midline. Turn back to 12. And again, turn out to 11, and just notice the movement in the hip, because that's what we're going to do first when we extend out to the left. So back to the center. Bring the straps back into, both straps back into the left hand. Ground the right thigh now with your right hand, because we don't want to be rolling off to the side. So weight your hand down onto that right thigh. Turn the toes out to 11 o'clock. And then inhaling on the exhale, you extend out as far as you can. If you've got a wall or you've got something to push your foot into, use that as some resistance. So you're still feeling the extension. Chest towards the ceiling, gaze towards the ceiling, pushing out through the heel, inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. A few more breaths here. Checking in with how you're feeling, trying to stay in the practice, not being distracted by anything you can hear going on outside the room you're practicing in. Just stay in the time you've created for yourself. One more breath. Inhaling, coming back to center. Release the strap and extend both legs long. So hopefully now the legs feel even. Hopefully you've noticed the extension in the back of the leg. So from here, full body stretch, inhale, arms overhead, reach through the legs, circle the wrists, circle the ankles. Woo, still got connection, amazing. Whoop whoop. Big shout out to Dan for always helping me out. And circle the other way. And then draw your knees into the chest. Give yourself that lovely hug once again, rocking gently from side to side. And then very carefully watching out for any props. You roll over to the right hand side. Use your left hand to come up to kneeling. So if you need to, you might want to pad your knees out with the mat and with your blanket. Otherwise, you can just put it to one side. So we're coming to all fours. So with all fours, your palms are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. You're spreading your palms. So if I was in the studio with you, I should be able to see your palms between, I would be able to see the mat between your fingers. And from here, really let the belly hang down towards the mat. And lengthen your chest forward so you're feeling the space in your waist. And gazing forward, this is your cow pose. And then from here, when you're ready, you're going to let the tailbone fall. And you're going to round the back up to the ceiling like an angry cat looking at your navel. There's your cat pose. And then slowly, mindfully, you're going to let the tailbone rise. And you're going to let the belly fall. Lengthen out the waist, gazing forward once again. There you are on your cow. Marishasana, Bitilasana is the Sanskrit name. And you're going to move between the two at your own pace, but you know what I've said, the tip for today is slow. So you're going to move really slowly between the two. Really slowly between your cat and cow, arching up between the shoulder blades. Letting that belly fall in the cow and really lifting the gaze, looking forward in the cow. Sometimes we forget and we look down at the mat. And just close your eyes. I find when you close your eyes, you really notice this movement in the spine. So a couple more rounds, just oiling the spine, symmetrically now. We've done asymmetrically with the side to side. Laying down in the windscreen wiper. Now this is symmetrical. So 2 more in your own time, and then we just come to some stillness. Slow, grounded practice today. No rushing, no big movements. So from here, step your left hand right towards the top left hand corner of your mat. And then inhaling, turn your chest towards the right, inhale up with the right arm. And then you're going to thread it through under your left arm, laying on your right shoulder and your right ear. And then you may be able to creep your left arm forward a little bit more. Keep your hips level to the front of the mat. So you're trying to not move the hips, and you're moving into a twist. So moving to Parivrita Balasana, so it's revolved child's pose. And you're really feeling, I want you to notice where the breath is moving to in the side of the body. Now if it feels available to you, you can lift your arm up and wrap it around the waist, but only if that feels available to you. So you're bringing that palm into the top of your right hip. Otherwise, you leave the arm where it is. But you know your practice. And remember, Vishala, today's practice, Sunday, 5th of April. Couple more breaths here. And then, of course, we'll change sides, so we need to be even. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. And slowly come to upright. Walk the shoulders back in. Sorry, palms back in under the shoulders. And of course we need to do the other side. So step the right palm close to the top of the right hand corner of the mat, looking towards your right thigh and threading that left straight up into the dog. We're going to check out our length and make sure the knees are facing where we need them. So weight spread equally between feet and hands. Inhaling, hover the knees a couple of inches off the mat. Gazing forward so you can feel that stretch down the side of the body. Then I invite you to look down at your knees. Are they pointing into the mat or are they rolling into another? Hit them out to the side if they're rolling out. And then thinking about creating length, not necessarily getting the heel down, length in the heels. And pushing the sit bones up to the ceiling, coming up into your first downward dog. And then have some freestyle movement in your dog. Do whatever you'd like, any kind of movement, figure of 8, coming through to plank. Or do you know what? You might just want to stay down in child's pose. And you might just want to walk your arms out to the side in child's pose. But wherever you are, have some freestyle movement in your dog pose. Or you can come to all fours, do figure of 8. I need to keep talking all the way through, so I'm going to take any breathers that I can. So once you've had a little bit of freestyle movement in your dog, come to some stillness. And take child's pose at any time if I'm holding dog too long. So look down at your feet. Your heel, can you see your heels? If you can, you need to adjust the feet so they're hiding behind your ankles. Feet should be about hip width distance, which is 2 knuckles between your feet. Push those sit bones up, head in line with your upper arm bones. From here, inhaling, gently glide forward to plank. Now you should have been able to do that without adjusting your foot movement. Push back up into dog. Now if you needed to adjust the length of your dog to get into plank, means your dog wasn't long enough. So have a longer dog. Let's do that again. Inhale, gliding forward to plank. Lengthen through the heels. Lifting the chest, lifting the gaze. You can always drop the knees down if plank is too much. And then pushing back up into your downward dog. Slowly, mindfully, I'm going to walk the feet to meet the hands at the front of the mat. Slight bend of the knees if it's too much in the hamstrings. And we're going to meet in the forward fold Uttanasana. So release the head, release the neck. And as you're here bending, make 2 fists and put them in between your feet. And that is roughly your hip distance apart. Hold on to opposite elbows if your hands don't touch. And in fact, hold on to opposite elbows anyway. Let's just do a little ragdoll. Let's just have a nice little flow, gently swaying from side to side. Feeling the breath in the side body. And then change the cross of the elbows and then come to stillness. As you release the head, release the neck, feel the spread of the buttock bones, the opening of the hamstrings, and the opening into the upper back. Lovely. So from here, bring your palms to the tops of your shins and inhaling, lengthen that waist, lengthen that chest, coming into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. And this is always available to you if the full forward fold feels too much. And from here, if available, slide your hands down the outsides of your feet to your ankles. Hold on to the ankles and pull yourself in small back into Uttanasana, bending the elbows, keeping the weight equally between front of foot, back of foot. And then coming back up to Ardha Uttanasana. And then this time, bending the knees, coming back down into your downward facing dog. And then come to kneeling, bring the big toes to touch and draw the heels back to the buttocks. Now you notice mine doesn't touch because I've got osteoarthritis, as I said. So you always plug the gap. Never hang because it starts to tense the muscles. And then gently lay the forehead down on the mat. And just have a couple of breaths here in Child's Pose, Balasana. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. One more time, inhaling to the heart, exhaling to the crown. And gently coming up from here, coming back up into your downward dog, pushing up into your downward dog, feet hip width apart, lengthen through the heels, wrap those thighs towards each other, creating space, and then inhaling the right leg up, and step the right knee behind the right palm, so you're kneeling on your shin, and then ground the left knee, untop the toes. Have the right palm slightly forward of the left. Sorry, no, other way around. Have the left palm slightly forward of the right. And then inhale, lifting the chest, gazing in front of you. Start to turn the chest towards the right leg. And then going into the first of our twists. So this is like a modified Anjali Asana. I'm going to move it into a twist. So lifting the chest, inhale that right arm up. Lift the left leg, backstroke the arm and hold onto the foot. Have the thumb towards the big toe. Draw the head back, shoulder back, and there you are in one of your first twists. And feel that lovely opening on the front of your left thigh. Parivrita Anjali Asana. One more breath. If you can, if it's available to you, you can hook the foot into the elbow. I can't do that. One more breath here. And gently release. Palm down. And push back up into downward facing dog. Glide forward into your plank. Knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Pull your chest through, coming up into up dog. Thighs off the mat. Chest nice and lifted. Shoulders from the ears. Into your downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up. Step it through between the hands. Ground in that left leg once again. And this time slowly come into fingertips. Lifting the chest, gazing forward. Keeping that tailbone weighted heavy down towards the ground. Inhaling, arms up. Make an offering to the universe, shoulders from the ears, Anjali Asana. You can actually lengthen forward more to open that left hip, but shoulders from the ears. Bringing the palms to heart center. Bring the palms, heart center. And then inhaling, cross the left elbow outside of the right knee. And you can stay there, trying to bring the chest to the prayer to chest. If it's in your practice, tuck your left toes and come up into Parivrita Parsvakonasana. And then lengthen through that heel. If you've got the left leg lifted, should be dead straight. And then from here, you can ground the left palm and then reaching up. Inhaling, exhaling. And then frame your foot, step back into downward facing dog. Pause there, take child's pose if you need it. Ripple forward into your plank, lengthen through the heels, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze. Lower, up dog, rolling over the toes, down dog. Inhaling up that left leg, step it through between the hands. Ground in the right knee, untop the toes. Come to fingertips, lift the chest, gaze forward, feel the opening in the right hip, and then inhaling, make that offering to the universe once again. Anjali Asana, opening the hip, palms together, palms to chest, right elbow outside of right knee, bring the prayer to the chest, chest to the knee, press to the chest to the palms rather. Tuck the right back toes, lift up if available to you. See if you can inhale on the exhale, turn a little bit more. And Parivrtta Parsvakonasana, revolved, extended side angle. One more breath. Frame the foot. Step back, down facing dog. Ripple forward to plank. Hover, chaturanga. Come into your up dog. Rolling over those toes. And this time lifting the right leg. Stepping all the way through to the front. Bringing the foot more to the middle of the mat. Grounding the back foot. And then inhale, coming up to warrior two, but we're not staying there, it's just a transition. And reach for your, very ungainly, reach for your brick. Going to move into Trikonasana and then a Parivrtta Trikonasana. So inhaling, belly, ribs and chest in line with the long edge of the mat. Front heel in line with the middle of the back arch, and keep your left hand on your left hip. Inhaling, right arm to shoulder width. Reach forward, so like you're turning your pelvis to the side. When you can reach no more, place your hand on your shin. Draw your left shoulder back so you're creating space in your belly, and then inhale that left arm up into your Trikonasana. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath here. And then bending the knee to come back up. Straighten that front leg. Now reach for the block. You might need to shorten the stance a little bit as we turn into the Parivrtta. And just turn your belly a little bit more towards the front leg. Have your book in your left hand. And inhale up, it's the same principle as before, but we're now reaching forward with the left hand with the brick. And as we reach forward, you're bringing your torso towards that right leg, and then you're crossing the brick over your right foot. So the brick is now on the outside of your right foot. Place your palm on top of the brick. Inhale, turn the chest towards the right. Inhale, exhale, turn again. Draw the right shoulder back. And then inhale up. Parivrtta Trikonasana. So it's your revolved triangle. Shoulders from the ears. And don't forget to breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath. Right arm on the sacrum. Inhaling back up. And let's just turn the toes to face the front. Move your brick over to the left. And to transition, just going to do a forward fold to release some of the twists we've been doing. So inhaling, lifting the chest, folding forward. Release the head, release the neck. Just a little counter pose in between the sides. And then from here come to fingertips. You can do the foot alignment here. So back foot 45 degrees. Turn the right foot out 90 degrees. Bring the hands up to the hips. So I'm going to do the Trikonasana first of all. So belly, ribs and chest in line with the long edge. Inhaling, reaching forward with that left hand as far as you can go. And then ground the hand. Draw the right shoulder back, making that space. Then inhaling the arm up, Trikonasana. Inhaling to the heart. And exhaling to the crown. Drawing that shoulder back into an imaginary wall. Ensure the legs are really switched on. And then inhaling, coming back up. Straightening the front leg, reaching for the brick. Shorten the stance a little bit and turn the belly towards the left leg. Hand on the left hip. Front leg, whichever is the front of your mat. So you're coming into a low lunge, step back into your downward dog, and then from here, jump through to seated. So from here, I'm going to do a couple of forward folds. Well, one forward fold and then a nice juicy twist. And this is where you will need the bolster if you've got it available, but don't worry if you haven't. You can roll your blanket. But first of all, if you've got your book handy, have your book in case your knee doesn't ground like mine. So sit in Dandasana, staff pose, feet about hip width apart, ankles, heels extended away, toes facing in towards you, palms by your hips, draw the shoulders back behind you, making space in your chest. And just pause, just close your eyes, connect to your breath, inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Consciously notice where your shoulders are. Are they up there by your ears? Draw them down. So slight bend in your elbows. And then from here, gently flutter your eyes open. And you're going to inhale and draw the right heel in towards you. And have the inside of the foot to the inside of your left thigh, as high as feels comfortable for you. Now, if like me, your right knee doesn't touch the ground, you need to support it with your book. So never hang. Always have support for your body parts. So you bring your foot up like tree, like wherever your tree is, and you have your foot, your right knee pointing right out to the side. So have your left hand by your left hip, and you're inhaling, you're turning your torso towards that extended leg. Now you might need to bend your leg, or if your strap's nearby, you might want to use your strap. So there's two ways to go into it. You can either bend your knee, inhale the arm up, and as you turn the torso, you can reach forward, but keeping that chest lifted, hold on to the outside of the foot, then extend the leg long, lifting the chest, bending the elbow, trying to bring the head to the knee as close as you can. Or you can simply put the belt, ball of the foot, like we did in Supta Padangusthasana, and have a nice length here, and then keep the chest lifted, start to draw the chest down towards the knee that way. So it's whatever works for you wherever you are today. You do the version that feels right for you. So wherever you are, you're trying to get your head towards your knee, keeping the chest lifted for a few breaths, and then once your head is as close as it feels possible, you then start to lower. Head to knee pose, Janu Shashasana. Inhaling and exhaling as we go. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Keeping the shoulders from the ears. Inhaling, and on the exhale, can you go a little lower? And one more breath. And gently, slowly start to inhale to come up. And of course, we need to do the second side. So extend that right leg long. You might need to just shake them out a little bit. And then of course, bring that left heel up towards you. Bring it up to wherever your tree is, and have that knee pointing directly out to the side. Again, support the knee if it doesn't touch the ground. Use the belt if you prefer. Right palm by the right hip. Inhaling up the left arm. Exhaling, turn the torso towards that right leg. I'm going to bend my knee up a little bit as I extend over to the outside of my right foot. I'm going to extend my heel. I'm keeping my chest long, bending my elbow as I start to try to bring my head to my knee. Janu Shashasana, second side. Inhaling and exhaling. And on the inhale, then on the exhale, I see if I'm able to go any lower. And being content with wherever I am. Vichara, conscious inquiry of my practice, your practice today. Connecting to your breath. One more breath here. And gently undo. And we're going to have another counter pose for all the twists we've been doing. So we're going to do a forward fold to counter, we're going to do one final nice little twist, then a counter, then your restorative. So if you have got a bolster or a roll blanket, just put that to the right hand side of you. Bend the knees like we started at the beginning in effortless rest. And always bend your knees to lay back. Just bend your knees, lay back. And then keeping the left leg bent, extend the right leg long, so ground the right leg. And keeping the back body firmly into the ground. You're going to inhale your left leg towards your chest, so just pull it into your chest gently, keeping that right leg extended, keeping the upper body firmly into the ground. You're just going to turn the left leg across the body so it comes to lay on the bolster. You might need to roll onto your left hip a little, right hip a bit, and fully ensure that the knee, the shin and the foot are on your bolster. Use your elbows, so put your palms facing up like a stick up. Brace your elbows into the mat to turn your chest to face the ceiling, and then decide what you like to do with your arms. You might have, if you've got room, you might want to just have them out shoulder width, shoulder height, or you can have right leg, right hand, left knee, and or you can have cactus arms. Now my left arm doesn't go down because it's tight, but you can have cactus arms. You decide where your arm. Keep the right leg extended. And inhaling, come back to neutral. Come to laying on your back. Draw the knees back in. Draw the knees to your chest and roll the bolster under your thighs because it stops you making a strain in the back. And then ground the feet. And extend the left leg long. And inhale the right leg into the chest. Draw it in as feels comfortable. Extend through that left heel, toes facing in towards you. And as we did before, exhaling, bringing the right thigh onto the bolster, same as before, fully supported. Knee, shin, foot. Use the elbows to turn the chest. And again, you might want to hold on to the knee. So the hip and the knee should be in line. So shouldn't be like that. If your knee is not touching, you need more height. So you need to build it up if possible. Or if it doesn't feel right with the bolster, you can just take it out and then just have the twist without the bolster. It's just more restorative with the bolster. So keep the left leg extended. Decide where you like your hands. And just surrender. And then turn the head to look over to the right. Inhaling to the heart. And exhaling to the crown. Revolved abdominal twist, second side. Urdhva Mukha Jatara Paravatasana. Inhaling and exhaling. Checking in where you are with your practice. Couple more breaths here as you relax into the twist. And I invite you to notice which side feels more open, because there is usually, even if it's subtle, there is usually a difference between the sides. So it's always good to make that inquiry. Vichara. And inhaling, coming back to neutral. Move the bolster, just roll it out to the side. Roll over to your side. Use your hand to push yourself to come to upright. And you're going to get ready for Shavasana. So fold your blanket at the top of the mat. And we're just going to do one counter pose before you settle into your Shavasana. So come up to your effortless rest seated pose. And if you've got the bolster, put it behind your knees. So you're sitting upright, not effortless rest. Feet down, knees up. And ensure the bolster's behind the knees if you've got one, or just roll the blanket. And then extend the legs so the bolster's directly behind the knees. Sit up tall, roll the shoulders down the back. And then inhale, arms up. Hinging at the waist, peace fingers or hold on to the sides of the feet. You're doing a nice forward fold to counter all the twists. And if you'd like to, if it feels available to you, and particularly if you've got a bolster, this works. If you haven't got a bolster, it doesn't work so much. You can lift the heels, so you really extend in through the heels as you pull yourself forward. So you're really feeling the back body stretching, hamstring stretching. It's just a really nice counter to all the twists. Then you can release the legs, and you can just fold forward and release the head down towards the knees. Just feeling that stretch, that counter. And then from there, very slowly, keeping the bolster or the blanket right behind your knees, you're now going to very gently lay back down onto your elbows, onto your back. As we started, blanket supporting head and neck only, arms slightly away from the body, palms facing up, lengthen the tailbone down towards the heels, and just let the feet fall out towards the side. The yogis say that it's in this pose you feel all the benefits of your practice, and always have a few moments or a few minutes, good few minutes, minimum 5 minutes in your Shavasana at the end of your practice. So I would invite you to probably stay a little longer at the end, because I'm going to close, excuse me, I'm going to close shortly, but I invite you to stay in your Shavasana and reap the benefits of your practice, of your twist today. If you have any comments, I'd be happy to have your feedback. Yvonne Yoga. Otherwise, just settle into your Shavasana. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose once again and exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose one last time and exhale through the mouth. Release the jaw, release the eyebrows, and just settle into your Shavasana relaxation pose. And then slowly, mindfully watching out for your props, roll onto the right hand side and stay on your right hand side for a couple of breaths. Extend your right arm under your right ear and just have a couple of breaths there, checking in with how you're feeling. using your left arm as a lever. Push yourself to upright, head coming up last, looking at the ground as you come up. And then come to sitting cross-legged in Sukhasana. Cross-legged pose. Sit nice and tall. Sit on the blanket, the bolster or the brick. Roll the shoulders down the back. Have your elbows near your waist to give a bit more space in the chest. And have your palms facing up or down, whichever suits you. And just close your eyes and connect to your practice. See how you're feeling after all those twists. And it may seem odd to do it at the end rather than the beginning, but dedicate your practice that you've just completed to someone or something. And hold that in your heart for the rest of the day. Inhaling, bringing your palms to heart center. Exhaling, bowing your head to your hands in gratitude for being able to have this gift of yoga at this unprecedented time. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Release the palms. Open the eyes. Raise the gaze. Namaste. Thank you so much, guys, for practicing with me. Thanks for your patience with the my technical hitches. Thanks to Dan, always, for helping me out. And hope to see you again. Yvonne Henrietta Yoga on Instagram. Have a great rest of the day, guys.